mine on. On the far to the right there. I don't see the red light. No, you gotta also push the little dude. There you go.
Thank you so much.
And now that she's signed, it's all official. Okay, item 1B is to hold a discussion, take action on the selection of a chair and a vice chair, both to serve a one-year term. So at this point, I will go ahead and open the floor here for nominations for those who would, we feel should be selected as chairman or chairperson.
Are you interested?
I would accept.
Well, therefore, I will nominate Mr. Kirk to as a chairman of our advisory board.
There is a nomination. Is there a second?
There's a second. I second that nomination.
Are there any other nominations? Chelsea, jump in there.
I'll third the nomination.
All right, if there are no other nominations, then I suppose we need to have a vote. All those in favor of Kurt Chakowski as the chair, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Then will be the chair. We'll continue. Now for vice chair for a one-year term. Mike, are you interested?
If no one else wants it, yeah, sure.
John, are you
I
interested?
nominate Mike Zapata for the position of vice chair and his seniority on the committee.
I second that nomination.
We have a motion by John Ayers and then a second by Chelsea. Is there any other nominations or anyone interested? All those in favor of Mike Zapata as vice chair of the Historic Preservation Board signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Okay, agenda item 2, public comments. I didn't see any cards. Are there any other cards there, Karen? Moving on to agenda 3. Receive a report, hold a discussion, take action on approving the minutes from the Historic Preservation Board meeting held December 2nd, 2025. About the only thing that I would note is we did say thank you to Linda Anderson as the chair. I did specifically name Rhonda as well. If you could include her in there, I'd appreciate that. So we thank you for your service for last year, Ms. Bourne. Any other comments on the minutes?
I wasn't here, so I'll take your word.
Okay. And John, I don't think you were here. And Chelsea, you were. All right. Then I have a motion to approve the minutes.
I so moved to approve the minutes.
I have a motion from John Ayers
Second.
and a second from Mike Zapata to approve the minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? In your packet, you received the dates for the Historic Preservation Board meeting dates, agenda item 3B. I did note that they are deconflicted from Thanksgiving and from Christmas. April, I just noted the 21st, Easter was the week before that. I didn't know if that was going to be a problem with family vacations, but I heard the ISD does not do that. Is there any of those dates people think may cause a bit of an issue? July 4th in this America 250 is deconflicted. Anybody have any comments? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve the 2026 Historic Preservation Board meeting dates as presented.
Second.
I have a motion by John Ayers and a second by Mike Zapata to approve the Historic Preservation meeting dates for 2026. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion is passed. Agenda item 4A. A little bit different this time. The Historic Preservation Board is a judiciary board for the city. The one thing that in the city ordinance is very specific is that if there's a demolition, then it requires a public hearing. So that's why you notice the agenda item for the same address will have the public hearing for the demolition and then the certificate of appropriateness for the design. So that's the reason we have to split this up a little bit. So for 4A, receive a report, conduct a public hearing, hold a discussion, take action on a request for a certificate of appropriateness for the demolition of 201 West Main. Ms. Tate.
Thank you. First, I'll give you my update, and then Mr. Chakowski will open the public hearing. So we received a application packet for a certificate of appropriateness for demolition for 201 West Main Street. It sits on the northwest corner down at Austin Avenue in Maine. As you can see on your screen, it is currently a one-story structure. It's been vacant for several years since my time here, so going on 4 years. And prior to that, is my understanding, it's been vacant for quite some time. We, as a city staff, have tried to address this and know that the roof is in poor condition, the interior floor is not quite there, and so there are a lot of structural issues. The building has switched hands, and it is the new owner that is making application for the demolition and the reconstruction. Within a packet, a request for a certificate of appropriateness for demolition, the applicant is required to provide us with certain materials, a redevelopment plan, structural engineering stamped statement on the existing condition of the building, and we've received all of that and have that information. Temporary fencing will be placed around the location when that demolition is taking place, and within the application, Mr. Day has provided us with a timeline of hoping to get this started as soon as we get everything approved, and he's ready to go on that. So within this public hearing, we are simply looking at the demolition. The building is historic. It is non-contributing according to the 1983 National Register nomination, as well as all of the historic surveys that have been done since that date. That's a bit unfortunate, of course. We know that this building was built in 1876. It was originally a two-story structure, as indicated in that top right-hand photo. It has some unique brickwork, and it is believed that some of the bricks exist somewhere in that structure, some of the original ones. I will have that conversation with Mr. Day when the time comes. If there's an opportunity to retain some of those bricks, we would ask that you do so, and we would take some of those over. And then we'll move into the redevelopment after this part, if you don't have any questions for me at this time.
Are there any questions? I would note, as a historian, this is a very famous building, or what used to be a very famous building. Mr. Nolan, Jeremiah Nolan, was one of the first individuals here to construct a business on Main Street. 1876 was either the first or one of the first brick buildings. It was a livery, and then it was a mule transportation, actually down to Galveston. So it was had a fire and was renovated in 1880, and then 65, 69, I can't remember what it was. It was renovated after a fire again to be somewhat like you see in the picture, although in the picture you see it's got the 2 stories. The second story came down sometime after that. So again, this public hearing I'm about to open is just for the demolition, and I'll be asking for everybody who has comments, concerns, or issues to bring them forward. So at 12:11, the public hearing is open for the demolition of 201 Main. Should anyone have a comment? If you would please state your name there, Mr. Day, and your address.
Yes, my name is Don Day. I live at 110 East Louisiana Street in McKinney, Texas. I would like to say that this building that you have today is actually a small remnant of what was once a historic building. If you look at the top right-hand picture, you see what the building originally was. Sometime in the past, the top structure, the second floor, was removed. When it was removed, a new roof structure was built on top of that. At another time, the front of the building was removed. What you have now, if you see the left-hand picture, is aluminum siding on the front of the building. The only thing remaining of the original historic building is the brick wall on the east side that is parallel to Austin Street. That wall is in very bad shape. It's bulging in the middle. It was originally built without modern mortar, and it was mostly sand mortar at the time. The sand has leached out of the wall. In some areas, you have loose brick on top of loose brick. That wall will not, the structural engineers looked at it, I've looked at it, it cannot be salvaged. And that's the only part of the original building that's still there. So I ask for your approval to allow us to take this down and build back something that will look similar to what was there originally. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Any other comments? Seeing none, at 12:13, we will close the public hearing. And now for discussion here for the board, I would note that as required, you saw the architect's estimate of the building. And so you know that just highlighting and actually punctuating what Mr. Day had to say.
I actually have shown this building when it was on the market, and I showed it 3 times actually, which doesn't happen a lot in my real estate career. Usually I might show a house once or twice, and I had a lot of people kind of decline to move forward or not want to move forward due to the state that the building was in of disrepair, basically. So hearing that from him does kind of confirm what other people possibly thought, just to kind of back that up a little bit.
I hate to see a building with such importance to the city disappear, but I mean, it sounds like it's not salvageable.
Yeah, the only thing that I would point out is both from the National Registry submission in 1983, it was non-contributing. In other words, it was not contributing to the historic district of the city. And then both the Roslyn 2013 and 2017 surveys, it was non-contributing. So while it is, the site is historic, the building is no longer historic.
Yeah.
So building back a facsimile of it, not wanting to go too far into the next agenda item, the demolition, I think, is appropriate.
Mr.
Yeah.
Chair, I would add that the structure is lacking integrity in terms of the storefront and the first floor being rebuilt and the removal of the second floor. I was able to go into the structure pre-2019 when I was on the preservation board before, and there's not a lot of integrity, and it's in poor condition. I think we walked on a plank on the floor. There was no floor at that time.
Thank you. I was going to get to that. What John is talking about is for the historians, when you're talking about a building, is historical integrity is not, is the building going to come down or not? Is it historically relatable back to what it was?
Does it represent?
And so there, I would agree that their historic integrity is not there.
I think in another circumstance, I might have concerns because I know we've all seen developers come in, say they're promising to do something and then take off and leave. And so that being such an important part of our downtown in the corner right there, I would hate to see that happen. But I know Mr. Day has a good history of completing things here. So
Yes, he does.
I don't have that concern. I would like what Mrs. Tace mentioned earlier about being able to reclaim or reuse some of the original brick if at all possible. But of course, that's for the next agenda item, I'm sure. But how long do you think the process would take at least to complete the demolition?
A couple of months at most.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, my only concern.
And we can salvage some of the brick. And I say some, the majority. Some of them will be broken and not of any value, but any whole brick, we can stack them in the parking lot behind it, and they can be salvaged. I'm not sure I would want to reuse them because they're softer brick than modern brick,
Yeah.
but they can be salvaged, yes.
Well,
If
I
there-
appreciate the effort for that.
Yeah, if there are some items, like the Four Lions building, we incorporated some stuff from the old Waples Platters grocery that might be able to be reused, that would be fine, but of course, we'll talk about that on the next item. If I had a concern, the only concern is I don't want to be, and this is not meant to be disparaging, I don't want to be Sherman. I don't want to have the bricks and the stuff into the street. And being that Austin is a major thoroughfare, I know, and I will only reiterate, and I know Kirk back there, Best in Texas, will ensure that we keep it safe for everybody there when that building comes down.
If I may interject, that's a state road, so we have requirements for closures of right-of-ways and things like that that will have to be done in conjunction with the timeline. So
Okay.
we have to make sure that we work together to make sure if something needs to be blocked off more, and all of that will take place.
And I know this is not your first rodeo, but you're aware that the requirements are going to be a little more,
There's always a process when you deal with the city. We will
It'll be more
follow
of a
that
process.
process.
It's a great process, is what I'm hearing.
a great process, will be a little more involved this time, I think. All right. Any other discussion from the board? Then do I hear a motion?
I motion to approve the COA for demolition of 201 West Main Street.
I have a motion from Ms. Chelsea McDuffie
Second.
and a second from Mike Zapata. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion is passed. All right, agenda item 5A, items for an individual consideration. Now we're back into our normal wheelhouse here. We're going to receive a report, hold a discussion, and take action on the request for a certificate of appropriateness for the new construction of a two-story building of 201 West Main Street. So a lot of the information is still going to be the same, but now we're looking at it as our normal certificate of appropriateness for a building in the historic district. So, Ms. Tate.
Thank you. I'm not going to reiterate the history again, since we just went through that. But within the letter of intent, Mr. Day states that he is looking to build a two-story structure. If you look at the image on your left, and then Sam, if you'll flip back to the last one too, it's pretty reflective, the proposed concept of the existing original structure. The window placement is the same on that second story, the shape is the same, the brick patterns and brickwork, as best as I can tell from the proposed concept and the architectural drawings, are very similar. You'll note that there is storefront glass on the first story facing West Main Street, and then the window openings along Austin Avenue are reminiscent of what would have been there before as well. The tie rod awning is a little different, just based upon that storefront that was originally removed, most likely, in that historic photo, and then that bottom part was applied. But historically, it's accurate to what would have been underneath that storefront that's on that top upper image. So I think it's a great representation of what was there. We know that when we build new construction, we need to be able to tell that it is new construction and not exactly what would have been there for people to be able to determine what's new and what's old. And I think this is a pretty good representation, but that will be left up to you to determine. The site is the same that is there. The building length and is 120 by 24, and so the footprint is what would have been there originally. And then the space will be used for both retail, commercial on that first floor, and then living space up on that second floor. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions for Ms. Tate? Yes.
Is that private living space, or are those intended to be rented out, or?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you asked.
Are those private
The
living
lots, are they gonna
spaces,
be
or are you gonna
yours,
rent out
or are
the
they gonna be
lots?
Oh,
rented
no,
out?
they're for lease.
Okay.
They will be for lease. As will be the first floor.
Okay.
If you could go back to the architect's rendering, because I think it's still got the elevation, should be next, there you go. Couple questions there, Mr. Day, if we could. Again, this is a historian in me coming out, and I understand what you said there, Ms. Tate, but I would note, especially with the fine job you're doing with 317, is on the second floor windows, I notice you got the Newtons in there, at least in the architectural designs. If you notice in the picture, the building next to it, there are 1/1s there, and your elevations that you have are going to be 1/1s. I would offer that the more historic, for our historic district, would be the 1/1 windows versus the grids that you have here for the Newtons in the picture.
I think you're asking me if we're going to put wood windows in.
Yeah, what kind of windows you're going to have?
It would be aluminum. The storefront on the first floor will be bronze aluminum. So we use bronze aluminum up above.
You're,
So that,
you're just talking about the window panes themselves, though.
Correct.
Yes.
The
So
windows,
the grids within
the Newtons.
the paint, yes.
The other question I have, and we have talked about this before on other buildings, 317 is another great example, which you referenced, but I noticed your storefront windows, the glass goes all the way down. And normally for the historic period, remember we got the kick plate or the bulkhead on there. I would ask that you would consider that to keep the
Okay.
historic look.
we've done it several times.
Yes.
We can do it here. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions, comments? Mr. Day and Karen, you can obviously just bring him in there. Even though it's a different agenda item, it's still Mr. Day. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Day.
Thank you.
For the board, any other discussions or comments? I don't think setback is an issue at all.
It's utilizing its entire site, so it has integrity of massing and being flush with the front walk. So it meets those requirements of fitting in with the historic district.
If there's no other discussion, is there a motion?
I move to approve the certificate of appropriateness for the new construction of a two-story building at 201 West Main Street.
And a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Mr. Ayers and a second by Ms. McDuffie here for the certificate of appropriateness for the construction of building 201 West. All those in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
All those opposed. Motion is passed. Staff updates, agenda item 6.
Just two administrative approvals over the last month or so. One was for 317 West Main for signage, and then 419 West Crawford for parking lot improvements. Any questions on those?
Thank you very much for taking care of them. I don't think you needed to bring that to the board. Not this meeting, but for the next meeting. If we could get an update on the signage.
I was just informed that the sign ordinance will be going sometime in February back to council after I have one-on-ones with individual
Okay.
members. So are you saying that you don't want to see administrative approvals before you?
No,
Okay.
no. Thank you.
Yes,
Do want to see it,
okay,
but I thank you for taking on those things which
Oh.
are appropriate for you to take on.
sure, got it.
All right. And number 7, agenda item 6. Any other comment or any other business before this board here today? Now, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion by John and a second by Mike. All those in favor? Do we need to vote on adjourning? Okay, we're adjourned.